So we have a lot of footage from the camera system. I wanted to give a little bit of a day in the life of Mal and Moro. So in the morning, roughly around 6:30 to 7 o'clock, we get them up. We're actually moving them closer to 7 o'clock, so for daylight savings. And you can see when they first come out, they have to wait before they're invited out of their crates to come and greet us. And they love seeing each other. They love seeing us. One of the things I do in the mornings is I really take a lot of time to just interact with them in a nice and kind of like familiar way. You see that Mal here does a very classical doggy stretch, followed by other very classical doggy stretches here. And I take a lot of time and kind of massage them and help them loosen up, because they've been sleeping in their crates for a number of hours at that point. So typically more than 8 hours when it comes to the nighttime. And same with Moro. They love getting massaged, so they rub up against me and they ask for massages, and I'm happy to oblige them. This also helps so that they interact with us instead of just each other. You know, they're really looking for something from us as opposed to just running to each other and starting their day out. But they are very loving with each other, and I do spend quite a number of minutes interacting with them and allowing them to interact with each other. Number one, it's supervised play. But also, this is the way we teach etiquette, like what is permissible and what's not permissible. And you'll see that each one of them takes turn rolling over on their backs to invite the other one to come and mouth on them a little bit. And they do it really gently. So here's an example of Mal lying down and inviting Moro to come. And they have really, really good ABI. That's acquired bite inhibition. So they know not to bite hard. They know what's the right amount of bite force. And here's a scenario where I'm having Mal sit even though I'm on my knees, and I like to be able to give him commands even though I'm on my back or I'm on my knees or in some other position, right? I spend a lot of time rubbing on him and kissing him. Yeah, we do a little bit of rough housing. Yeah, that actually does happen. So people are like, oh, well, why do you allow your dogs to do that? I mean, it's a form of play, number one. Number two, it's only upon invitation, right? So here I have Mal sit because I'm going to put on his harness. He has a slight aversion to his harness. I'm not exactly sure why, but I have him sit because it's pretty undignified to chase your dog around in order to put on his leash, harness, collar, take your pick. So he sits down and he's a good boy when he puts on his harness there. And turn on his lights, his walking lights, and get ready for his walk. So one of the things that we trained them to do is not to run around when we're putting on his gear, because again, it's not only undignified, it's just it's a bad habit. So he sits down before he's allowed outside. So just like getting out of the crate, he has to be released. So we go outside and I release him. Here's the view from the other side. So I come out and I release him out, and immediately he has to sit down. And this is because we don't want the dogs to get into the habit that once they get outside they can bolt off, right? That's not good, because it takes us time to close the door, make sure our shoes are tied or whatever the case may be. So it's very helpful. And as you can see, I'm just simply tethered here. Dangji amla. Amla dangji. Now, okay. And this is Mau Mau on his walk. As you can see, we're tethered together here. And he's walking. Definitely. Now, chop. Chop quite quiet. So a car's coming, so we told him to sit. And now he's sitting and let the car pass. And then we say, now, okay. And then he just keeps walking. Now, Dangju. Amla Dangju. Amla. Now, chop. Quite quiet, Mau Mau. Amla. So now he's in his sit stay. And he's just sitting there. And we go around him, make sure there's no cars. And I say, now, okay. Woohoo! Now, Dangji. Quite quiet. Amla Dangji. Now, chop.
乖乖，啱啦。Mal, okay.
So when we come home, Mal and Moro are both required to sit and before they're allowed to go into the house. And again, this is useful because we don't want them being in our way when we open the door. And again, we release him to go back into the house. And same thing, here's an example. Moro comes home and he knows already he's supposed to be sitting. So he sits down. This is where we unleash him. So this is a few times, or a few seconds where we have him off leash and open doors and let him go inside. Now both of the pups will present their paws to be wiped. So this is where some of those commands come in really handy. So sit and present your paw. And he's very patient. It's nice. Then he'll pass you his other paw. And you can go ahead and wipe that. And this is a nice use of the stand command. Just ask him to stand and wait so that you can go ahead and wipe his back paws. He's quite good at that. Yeah. Nicely done, Mal. And here's Moro. Moro also will do exactly the same. He'll sit and present paws for you. So present his paw, he'll pass you his other paw. Moro actually got this first before Mal did. Yep, and then also he'll stand up to make sure to allow you to wipe his back paws. Yep. And again, this is just good use of daily commands that you're going to use: sit down, stay, stand, like every single day. Yep. Take off his harness there. Yeah. Give him some love. So this is one of the things that we do is we always have the dogs sit and stay and say a prayer before they eat. So here they are. They're both sitting. And the release word is actually amen. So when they say amen, they actually get released and they know to go into their crates. And that's where they get their food. Yeah. So here's another example of the dogs sitting and staying and praying before they eat. You know, we've actually done this since the very first meal. I'd like to say probably the earliest meals that we've had, always having doing a sit-stay and waiting patiently. It's just a great way of developing some impulse control. And then also, this one I'm releasing them independently, so Moro gets to go first here, and then I'm telling Mal it's his turn. And it's very important to be able to get the dogs to act independently because this is going to play out whenever we're out in public. So it's a really great place to start here at home.